Chapter 41 Small Antidote Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Buzz buzz, as the rooster crows, it is a new day, and Yuan Changqing also gets up energetically to exercise. No matter how busy he is, Yuan Changqing never fails to practice every day. This has become an instinct. After the exercise, I had breakfast, rested for a while, and then started refining alchemy again, with yesterday's experience in refining gold and medicine, and the information on refining medicinal materials recorded a few days ago. Look at it carefully, review the old and learn the new, go through it in your mind, clear away distracting thoughts, and stabilize your mind. Following the same steps as yesterday, I started to refine the detoxifying pill, since this is the first time to refine the detoxification pill. Every step must be done carefully. If you are not proficient enough, the refining time will be slightly longer. After the first successful refining experience, the subsequent steps became much faster, and the detoxification pill was completely refined in one day. There were still 2 unsuccessful furnaces. The main reason was that the heat was not controlled well and they were turned into ash. This time Yuan Changqing purchased a lot of medicinal materials, both of which were from these 2 medicines, but a lot was wasted during the experiment, so there was not much left. Therefore, the refining process was fast, and it still took a day because of his lack of skill. Yuan Changqing named this detoxification pill Ziajidu Dan. This is because these elixirs are relatively common. According to the configuration of the medicinal materials, the efficacy is definitely not as good as those of intermediate and high-level elixirs, therefore, the refining time is relatively short. If Yuan Changqing is asked to use precious medicinal materials to make elixirs, not to mention fairy grass, even if it is spiritual grass, if you want to refine it in one day, it is simply impossible. Even if Yuan Changqing knows how to refine it, under the current conditions, when his soul power is exhausted, the medicinal materials may not be refined into liquid. Therefore, if I want to refine high-level elixirs, I need external assistance, as well as my own strong soul power guarantee. Therefore, alchemy is not only a hard work, but also a technical job, which consumes a lot of energy and time. This requires enough patience, and the success rate of alchemy will be higher. Although alchemists are rich no matter which extraordinary world they live in, they also consume a lot of money. Starting as an apprentice, you have to practice continuously. Even if the medicinal materials used at the beginning are very common, if you have no experience, a lot of medicinal materials will be wasted, and even if you can make elixirs, you can't guarantee success every time. These are all consumption. This is still the early stage. With each step of improvement in alchemy level, consumption begins at each step. Only when you become a master of alchemy can you become a rich man. According to a small detoxification pill prepared by Yuan Changqing, 6 pills can be refined. Normally there should be 9 pills, which requires precise fire control to retain the useful liquid in the medicinal materials to the greatest extent. Maybe a master-level alchemist can refine 12 pills. This is not only about the level of fire control, but also requires strong mental power to ensure that every part of the medicine becomes a pill when separating the medicine. The effect of the medicine is exactly the same. Of course, Yuan Changqing doesn't dare to think that far now. This requires a lot of experience in alchemy to improve proficiency and accuracy. What Yuan Changqing needs now is to conduct refining experiments on a large number of various medicinal materials and record their refining process. Only in this way can we ensure that we can practice after researching various elixirs in the future. In the future, we will definitely refine more complex and higher-level elixirs. This all requires familiarity with the process of refining medicinal materials. Only through this, plus the research of various elixir recipes, and continuous refining, will the level be improved. Yuan Changqing's current level of alchemy is only at the apprentice level. If he is proficient enough, he may be able to refine elementary elixirs and some intermediate elixirs, but without the elixir recipe, various medicinal materials cannot be refined. Therefore, Yuan Changqing has not yet solved many problems. The Jinshuang medicine and the Ziajidu pill have been refined, and now it is up to Yuan Changqing to verify their effects. Therefore, Yuan Changqing came to Soto City again, first to find Catherine and Wang Yuyan. I didn't go to the store, but went directly to my sister-in-law's home in Soto City. Now the store doesn't need to be looked after by my sister-in-law and uncle all the time. It has a dedicated clerk to look after it. my sister-in-law and the others only need to go out to check the accounts and buy some supplies. The rest of the time they are relatively free. In addition to my sister-in-law's family, there are quite a few people living in my sister-in-law's house now. Catherine's mother and son, and Wang Yuyan's mother and son are also living here these days. Yuan Changqing's sister Yuan Zi and brother Yuan Zilong are also there. It's holiday now, and Yi Guang is also at home. After Yuan Changqing came, he also stated his purpose of coming, which was to find some free experimenters. Everyone was also surprised. They didn't expect Yuan Changqing to refine it so quickly. My sister-in-law said, "Where are you going to verify your things?" Yuan Changqing said, "Where else can we go? The Great Soul Fighting Arena. There are more people injured there." Catherine said, "The soul masters who fight souls in the soul fighting arena don't go there every day. Even if there are many people injured, you can't know the subsequent effects after using it on him." Yuan Changqing retorted, "The situation you mentioned exists, but if the effect is good, won't he come back to me to buy it? After all, if the effect is good, he will need it." My sister-in-law came out and said, "It's just possible for you. I don't know how effective it will be yet. I think you should leave it to me. I'll take it to a familiar clinic and let them help you use it." Yuan Changqing felt that this was also a solution, so he prepared to split up. "Okay, sister-in-law, I will divide the golden medicine and the small detoxification pill into 2 parts, and give you 1 part. Use your method. For the other one, I'd better go to the Great Soul Fighting Arena and find some more people to try." After everyone discussed it, Yuan Changqing also gave several small jade bottles to his sister-in-law Yuan Linglong, asking her to use them to find people for the experiment and for subsequent verification. Yuan Changqing asked everyone again, "Would you like to go to the Great Soul Fighting Arena with me today?" Wang Yuyan smiled and said, "Brother Changqing, we won't go. Sister Catherine and I still have children. The spirit fighting arena is not suitable for children." Catherine also said, "Today we are going to pick up our clothes with my sister-in-law. We went to the clothing store to customize clothes a few days ago. We originally wanted to customize clothes for you, but you are not here." Yuan Changqing said, "It's okay. I don't care much about clothes. I can just buy ready-made clothes. It's convenient and affordable." My sister-in-law said, "That's because you don't know how to appreciate it. You can customize it according to your own preferences. Those ready-made clothes are all the same." "Okay, sister-in-law, I can't help you. Isn't it just the clothes? Just feel comfortable. There's no need to pay attention to it." Yuan Changqing did not argue about winning or losing. Then he said, "If you don't want to go, then you can go. What about Zi and Zilong, and Yi Guang, do you want to go?" Hearing Yuan Changqing ask them, the 3 of them were eager to give it a try. Yi Guang looked at his sister-in-law. My sister-in-law said, "You can go if you want to. You can also go and see it at your age." "Yeah," the 3 of them said in unison. Yuan Changqing said to Yi Xiaofan, "Uncle, why don't you and I go take a look too?" Yi Xiaofan said, "Okay, I haven't been there for many years, so I'll go check it out with you." Chapter 42 Promotion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yuan Changqing and others discussed it, the matter was settled. My sister-in-law and uncle went to work first, while Yuan Changqing and others stayed at home. Stay at home with Catherine, Wang Yuyan, and their 2 children. After lunch, Catherine and the others went shopping, and their brothers and sisters also went with them. It was a rare opportunity to go out and play, and of course they didn't want to stay at home. In the evening, Yuan Changqing and others came to the Great Soul Fighting Arena together. Although you could go there during the day, there were few people at that time and everyone was working during the day. Things are different at night. After a long day of work, people also need to relax. By the time Yuan Changqing and the others entered, the soul fighting arena was already bustling with people. When I came to my seat, there happened to be a spirit fighting competition. People in the audience were shouting and cheering for the players they supported. After the game started, at the exciting stage, Zi Zilong and Yi Guang also stood up and shouted loudly like other spectators. While watching, Yuan Zi and others also looked envious. "Brother, when can we go to fight souls?" Yuan Changqing said, "It will be difficult for you and Zilong, but Yi Guang is fast. He is a beast martial soul. He can go up and train as a great soul master." Yi Guang chuckled and said, "Brother, have you ever fought in a spirit fighting arena?" Yuan Changqing touched Yi Guang's head and said, "Ha ha ha, of course I have been there, but I went there when I was the Soul King. I lost more and won less. Besides, I'm not here to win or lose, but to accumulate combat experience." Then, he said to Zilong, "Don't think so much now, practice hard, improve your soul power, and learn and practice everything I teach you. When you have combat effectiveness, we will also train you with actual combat experience at home. Although we don't have much combat effectiveness in the early stage, you must also have combat experience. Especially the skills. Once you practice them, your combat effectiveness will be enhanced. You need to persist in these every day, you know." New. Yuan Zilong and Yi Guang answered in unison. Yuan Changqing said again, "Little uncle, you must train them more in the future, otherwise you will have no experience in going out in the future." Yi Xiaofan said, "No problem. Now they are either still young or have no fighting ability. You also know the situation at home, so we don't train them much. We only ask them to seriously improve their soul power. Yeah, but they can still practice boxing and kicking. Our family didn't have this condition before, but now that we have it, we can't waste it. Changqing, you are right. Let them start practicing from a young age, so that they can quickly integrate into actual combat in the future." "That's right, little uncle, think about it, only after you develop your instincts through practice, won't you have an advantage when encountering close combat in the future? I will tell Grandpa and the others about it after I go back." Yuan Changqing added, "In the future, when you are busy, little uncle, you will send them to the village and let Grandpa and the others take care of them. We cannot let them waste such good conditions." "Well, okay, I'll give it to your sister-in-law when I get back." After hearing the decision of Yuan Changqing and Yi Xiaofan, the three of them also had sad faces with frustrated faces, making Yuan Changqing and Yi Xiaofan burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha. Yuan Changqing said again, "Uncle, you and my sister-in-law can take them to the big soul fighting arena more often when you have time in the future, so that they can learn more about how others fight souls. If they encounter the same type of soul master in the future, how to deal with it. Okay, let's do it this way. We can't do it behind closed doors. Yi Xiaofan is not a fool." Hearing Yuan Changqing say this, he also thinks this method is good. Although Yuan Zi and the others are not yet capable of fighting, it would be good to learn more about them. After Yuan Changqing saw his uncle's promise, he said, "Uncle, please stay with them here and watch for a while. I'll go outside to see if there are any suitable people. I'll come back to you later, or you've finished reading. We will meet in the hall of the Fighting Spirit Arena." "Okay, you go ahead, I'll watch them here." After saying that, Yuan Changqing left and went outside to see if there were any suitable soul masters who were injured after fighting souls. At the entrance of the soul fighting arena, Yuan Changqing was ready to wait and see. After walking around, Yuan Changqing saw a suitable person. He saw blood stains on the person's clothes, which were obviously left during the spirit fight. Yuan Changqing also quickly walked up and called the man to stop. "Brother in front, wait, I have something good for you." Because Yuan Changqing didn't know him, he could only start the trick of deception. The man looked at Yuan Changqing with a puzzled look and said, "Do we know each other? Do you have something to do with me?" Yuan Changqing smiled and said, "Brother, it's our first time meeting, so of course we don't know each other." "Then why did you stop me? If you have anything to say, please tell me quickly. Don't you see that I'm still injured? Do I have to go back to heal?" Hearing what he said, Yuan Changqing knew that this person was not very wealthy. There was a special healing soul master in the fighting spirit arena. It was obvious that he didn't go to see him when he was injured, but it was just right. Yuan Changqing said again, "Brother, don't worry, you are injured now. I happen to have medicine to treat trauma. Why don't you try it?" After finishing speaking, Yuan Changqing took out 2 small jade bottles and opened one of them marked with Jinchuan medicine, and a smell of medicine came out. Yuan Changqing said again, "Brother, why don't you try it first and see the effect? This is for trauma. I will apply it on you now." The man looked a little disbelieving, looking at Yuan Changqing as if he was buying fake medicine. "It's really useful, don't fool me. Brother, don't believe it. I'll give it to you for free now. You can feel it." Maybe it was because he felt uncomfortable after being injured, so the man agreed, and Yuan Changqing applied Jinchuan medicine to his wound. I saw a long wound on his arm, which was simply treated, but there were still drops of blood coming out. After the gold wound medicine was applied to the wound, the man also felt a slight cooling feeling. Yuan Changqing said, "How is it, brother, do you feel it?" "It's hard to tell now, but the wound feels a lot more comfortable, and there's a little bit of coolness. It's not as hot as before." "Okay, brother, I see that you are my first customer today. I will give you the rest of this bottle of Jinchuan medicine. I also have a small detoxification pill, do you need it?" "Oh, thank you so much, brother. What kind of poison can your little detoxifying pill be able to cure?" Yuan Changqing explained, "Although my little detoxification pill may not be effective against those highly toxic poisons, it can still detoxify ordinary poisons, and it can also relieve some of the more toxic ones. Critical moments play a big role." After a pause, Yuan Changqing said again, "You are the first customer. This bottle of small detoxification pill is cheap for you. I will give you 10 silver soul coins and sell it to you at a loss." "Okay, since you said so, brother, I won't hesitate. If brother thinks my medicine is good, come to me again. I'll be here these days." Yuan Changqing collected the money, handed the package to the person and said, "Okay, bye. Goodbye." Chapter 43 Looking for the Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In fact, there is basically no problem with Yuan Changqing's medicine. After all, he made it according to the prescription, mainly because he wanted to see the effect. Although I didn't treat anyone in my previous life, I was familiar with medical books, plus some medical books in this world. It is assumed that Feng Shui and Chinese medicine can be roughly used in this world. As long as you understand the pharmacology and properties of medicine, you can match the prescription according to the theory of traditional Chinese medicine, plus some yin-yang and 5-element theories from the fantasy world. Therefore, it will be of great help to Yuan Changqing in his future research on elixirs. This time is mainly used to verify this aspect, and also to prepare Wang Yuyan to open a clinic. After all, pill prescriptions cannot be obtained out of thin air at one time. They still need to be continuously improved. Having a clinic can also make it more convenient. As for the prices of these elixirs in the future, we cannot be so casual. Only common elixirs that are used in large quantities will become popular, but those with special effects are no longer cheap. Yuan Changqing also found some people in the great soul fighting arena to verify. After a few days, he found out that some people still wanted to buy it after using it. Seeing these feedbacks made Yuan Changqing feel relieved. The news from his sister-in-law not bad, which means the effect is pretty good. In the future, Yuan Changqing will also conduct such verification after each elixir comes out. At present, no elixir has appeared in Douluo Continent. Among those big forces, the most commonly used liquid medicines may be prepared, and these are mainly used to build foundations, refine the body, or repair body damage. Therefore, as long as Yuan Changqing develops elixirs to restore soul power, or elixirs to treat internal injuries, or elixirs that can enhance strength and break through bottlenecks, these are promising. In the back hill of Lanin village, Yuan Changqing came to the treasure land of 7 stars and the moon, holding a dragon-seeking plate in his hand, and he was looking for the dragon's acupoint. After returning from Soto City, Catherine and Wang Yuyan also came back with him, from building the alchemy furnace to refining the elixir. Yuan Changqing never stopped during that period, except for a few days of rest in between. That was because his body and mind had reached their limit, so he took a few days off to recover, and then he was busy refining elixirs. After being busy these past few days, Yuan Changqing also had time to come to the back mountain to take a look. Looking at the pointer in the center of the dragon-seeking disc in his hand, it began to spin around as soon as he Entered the treasure land of 7 stars and moon. Finally, after a period of rotation, the pointer of the dragon-seeking disc finally pointed to the lake in the middle, which seemed to be the place where the inspiration for this treasure place gathered. Although Yuan Changqing knows this, after all, he has also investigated it, and now it has been confirmed again through the dragon search plate. The lake was indeed a spiritual cave formed by the gathering of spiritual veins, and the spiritual veins also extended 7 branches to the surroundings, which were the 7 hills. Yuan Changqing also surveyed these again. Although this is only a part of this small mountain range, the underground spiritual veins gather here to form a treasure place. Because Yuan Changqing's mental power had been enhanced last time, his perception ability had also improved, and he discovered that this spiritual vein was the main spiritual vein of this mountain range. As for whether there are Feng Shui treasures in other parts of the mountain range, Yuan Changqing doesn't know. Although it is a small mountain range, it is only compared to those large mountains. Yuan Changqing doesn't have that much time to survey. Even with his current strength, it will take a long time to complete the mountain range. The improvement of mental power is of great help to the art of looking for energy in Feng Shui. In the past, Yuan Changqing could only judge whether there might be a treasure land based on the terrain and the surrounding situation. Now Yuan Changqing can vaguely perceive the surrounding aura through the art of looking at the energy. In the 7 stars and moon treasure land, he only feels that there is a cold bright moon, and there are 7 stars guarding it all around. There is also the sense that through the mountains, there is a steady stream of energy being transported to the treasure land, providing it with strong vitality. After making this discovery, Yuan Changqing was excited. He had always heard about Wang Qi before, and thought it was fake, just to appear more mysterious and awesome. Now that I have personal experience, I know it is true, but this ability is too energy-consuming. After confirming the treasure land again, he also discovered that he could use the technique of looking for energy. After his energy was almost exhausted, Yuan Changqing went home. After returning home, after this qi-gazing experience, Yuan Changqing was also ready to sort out what he had learned in his previous life. With this discovery, it seems that the things I brought over in my previous life still have great potential to be tapped. Now Lanning village looks more energetic than before. This is what Yuan Changqing saw after returning this time. When going to bed at night, Yuan Changqing and Wang Yuyan talked about this while chatting. I was busy some time ago and didn't pay attention, but after all, Wang Yuyan had lived with him in the village since childhood, and she had spent a lot of time when she came back from vacation this time, so she knew him better than Yuan Changqing. Wang Yuyan said, "Hehe, brother Changqing, you just discovered it now." "Well, I only discovered it in the past few days. The villagers are in better spirits." Wang Yuyan explained the reason to Yuan Changqing and said, "Yes, the village used to be poor, taxes were heavy, and the villagers had no other income. Now our family has a winery, and the villagers work here. They get wages and grow fruits. Our store also buys some agricultural and sideline products, so our income is a lot more. So, life is much better now than before, and the villagers seem to be more energetic. Also, because of my uncle, the tax collectors no longer dare to bully the villagers in the village." Yuan Changqing sighed. "It seems that with strength, you have the right to speak. Those who collected taxes in the past were arrogant and domineering to the villagers." Yuan Changqing often saw this when he was a child, but at that time, Yuan Changqing was unable to help the villagers. Although his grandparents had soul power, they were just like that. Although grandpa and the others are soul masters, you are weak and those tax collectors won't care about you. It's different now. With my uncle, the Soul Emperor, in charge, those tax collectors have calmed down their arrogant attitude and become more polite. It seems that those people really have a good eye for who can be messed with and who they can't mess with." Wang Yuyan said, "Yes, now those people no longer dare to bully the people in our village." Yuan Changqing said, "It seems you know a lot when you come back this time. That's not like you. You can't see anyone all day long. Sister Catherine and I often go to the village to play. When we chat, the villagers are very grateful to our family. Well, Grandpa is the village chief. He didn't have the ability before, but now he has the ability. It's time to help the villagers. This can also improve his reputation, right?" Chapter 44 Organizing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuan Changqing's vacation has also been completed in a busy manner, and this time Yuan Qinglan will also go to Tiando City with them. Now Yuan Changqing is also a family of 5. Taking advantage of the time left during the holiday, he got on the carriage and headed towards Tiando City together. After arriving in Tiando City, Yuan Changqing and Wang Yuyan rushed to register Yuan Qinglan at the Junior Soul Master Academy. After the registration was completed, he went to the dormitory to have a look, and then went back to Catherine's hotel with Yuan Qinglan. The family had to stay in Tiando City for a few days, and Yuan Qinglan had to wait until the school officially started before going to school. Later, Yuan Changqing helped Wang Yuyan start looking for stores and prepare to open a clinic. This was planned. After finding the store, they started looking for someone to decorate it. Yuan Changqing and the others went to find a wholesaler of medicinal materials. After finding one, they negotiated the price and just waited for the clinic to open. The location of the clinic was chosen in an area where a large number of civilians live. After all, nobles and rich people who are sick can afford to hire healing soul masters, but civilians don't have that much money to hire soul masters to treat them, so they can only go to the clinic to see a doctor. Therefore, it is most appropriate for Yuan Changqing to choose the clinic in a civilian area, where only people can come to see a doctor. After arranging these things, wait until the clinic is finally decorated. It was the day when school started. Yuan Qinglan also went to the Junior Soul Master Academy, and Yuan Changqing and the others also returned to the Tiando Royal Academy. Now that Catherine has a child, because the child is still young and needs someone to take care of her, she has not become a teacher. In the future, she plans to stay with Wang Yuyan and help in the clinic. The class that Catherine taught before was replaced by Yuan Changqing, but the teachers had taught the class in the previous 2 years, and the rest was up to the students themselves. Ordinary classes don't have to worry too much. As long as your grades are up to standard, those who are supposed to graduate will still be dawdling around. When you reach the age and you haven't reached the standard, you can just get a diploma. It's just that the soul power level shown on the diploma is ugly. Since the last use of the Qigong technique, Yuan Changqing has organized what he has learned, and now that he has time, he has begun to examine himself. First of all, with the deepening of the cultivation of Eternal Spring Ju on the 6th level, it does become more obvious. Such discoveries have been made at every level before. Secondly, the control of the body in Wu Qin Shi will become more and more effective with continuous practice. This is useful for close combat. Let's see if we can develop our own soul skills in the future. But the 5 animals show should be the most helpful to Catherine. If the martial spirit is one of the 5 animals, it will be of great help. Again, the runes, magic weapons, and spells in Feng Shui are really useful, but they only require strength. Finally, there is Chinese medicine. This is the need for alchemy. This can only be studied slowly. Yuan Changqing thought about the help of these things he had brought to him in his previous life in this world. Although with the help of Changchun Ju, even if his martial spirit is poor, as long as he does not give up training, his strength will gradually improve, but I don't know how fast this improvement will be until the year of the monkey, and maybe I won't be able to reach the 12th level until I die. Martial spirits are like spiritual roots in the world of cultivating immortals. Those with good talent can practice quickly, while those with poor talent can only cultivate to their destined strength. Therefore, Yuan Changqing's martial spirit is blue-silver grass, so his talent is naturally not very good. Therefore, after knowing that Wuhuan is blue-silver grass, and based on some information he knew in his previous life, Yuan Changqing could only take the route of Wuhuan evolution, in order to change his talents and increase the speed of cultivation, so that his strength would not be compromised. Too far, these are from the previous life, but what about this life? I won't say much about martial arts. This life is the knowledge of this world. There are also the external soul bones that Yuan Changqing got when he obtained the 5th soul ring, the twin swords of ice. He has never been exposed to the outside world, and only his family members know about it. He usually practices some basic swordsmanship at home, and he also made 2 fine swords. Also, I am taking the offensive line. By attaching soul rings to the martial soul, the vitality of the blue-silver grass martial soul is getting stronger and stronger, and its toughness and strength are also very good. It seems that I have to practice the whip technique. Developing my own soul skills is also a good choice. There are also studies on soul guides and elixir recipes, which are all helpful to me. Yuan Changqing thought silently in his heart, putting the two lives together. Yuan Changqing felt that his advantages were still very good, but he also felt that there was not enough time. Forging, soul guides, elixirs, fairy grass, and self-created soul skills all require a lot of time, plus you have to practice every day. Soul power training, 5 animals show, swordsmanship, soul skill creation, and now there is also a whip method. These all involve Yuan Changqing. Looking back now, he has to make a training plan. First, Changchun Ju, 5 animals play, sword techniques, whip techniques, these can be completed together during daily practice. Second, finding fairy grass and refining elixirs must be completed as top priorities. Third, Feng Shui requires on-the-spot learning, which can be done in combination with theory when looking for the ice and fire eyes. Yuan Changqing thought for a while, and decided to finish these first. He could take some time to learn the other ones, just to change his mood. Forging, researching soul guides, and creating self-made soul skills can be done later when your strength is high. The whip technique that needs to be learned is only the basic whip technique that can be used by the martial spirit after being possessed by the martial spirit. The same is true for the sword technique. I don't have any ideas for creating my own soul skills yet. When I get stronger and stronger, I will create them later. The power will be stronger and the time involved will be less. After sorting this out, Yuan Changqing felt a lot more relaxed and smiled unconsciously on his face. Catherine looked at Yuan Changqing, who had been silent, and now he was laughing alone. "Husband, why are you silent and just giggling all by yourself? You thought of something beautiful, and it will make Sister Yuyan and me happy when you say it." Catherine asked in a sinister tone. "Ahem, it's nothing, I just figured out something." The two women were also curious, and Catherine added, "What did you figure out?" And you actually laughed. "Oh, it's not that I feel like I don't have enough time. It's like I have a lot of things to do, and I don't have time to spend with you." Yuan Changqing coaxed Catherine and Wang Yuyan heartily. He added, "Now that I have figured it out, I feel happy unconsciously." The two women were also very happy when they heard Yuan Changqing say this. Wang Yuyan said, "Just think about it. Sister Catherine and I used to think that you were always working and didn't even have much time to rest." Catherine also said happily, "It's better now, and you have more time to spend with us and our children." "Well, when I have time in the future, I will spend more time with you. We can also work hard to cultivate together. Catherine, you also strive to cultivate to the soul saint as soon as possible, and Yuyan cultivates to the soul king as soon as possible." Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yuan Changqing made plans for the future, he accompanied Catherine and Wang Yuyan to talk and chat. He also talked about some cultivation matters, and hoped that the two women could work hard to cultivate and increase their strength, because in the final analysis, strength speaks for itself in Douluo Continent. Then they discussed the Changchun Ju exercise. Yuan Changqing's family is now practicing this exercise. Children who have not come to the soul sect have to learn one level at a time. Only after they arrive at the soul sect can they obtain the supreme soul saint. Exercises, as for the later ones, Yuan Changqing will not take them out until after the soul saint, but they will only reach the 9th floor. Yuan Changqing's family members don't know about the later ones. If there is a family member who can cultivate to level 99 Peerless Douluo, Yuan Changqing will also show it, but it is unlikely. When Yuan Changqing talked about the issue of cultivation, he told Catherine and Wang Yuyan what he had discovered. "Did you feel anything different when you were practicing the Changchun Ju?" The two women were stunned for a while, both thinking about the state of their cultivation. However, Wang Yuyan kept frowning and trying to remember. Catherine was different, she seemed to have remembered something. "I don't know if my feeling is right or not. I have only practiced the eternal spring art since the Soul Emperor. The more I practice, the more I feel that my body's strength and toughness have improved, and when I reach the 6th level, the body begins to detoxify, and the body feels lighter every time. Wang Yuyan also nodded when she heard Catherine say this. I feel the same way, but I thought it was because I became stronger. If Sister Catherine hadn't told me, I would have thought it was normal. But why haven't I detoxified? Yuan Changqing said, don't talk about you guys. I thought this was the case before, and I only discovered it after I became the Soul Emperor. What's the reason for that? The two women asked at the same time. Yuan Changqing explained, since I discovered this situation, I didn't pay attention to it at first, and it was only later that I realized it. Later, I felt that this might be due to the Changqing Ju, so I practiced carefully from beginning to end, and then I realized that it was due to the technique. I discovered that each layer of the Changqing Ju has a special effect. The effect of the first layer is to build the foundation, which means that the soul power nourishes the body during practice. As for the second layer, its function is to temper the skin and make it more resilient. I call it skin refining. As for the third layer, its function is to temper the muscles, making them more elastic and firm. I call it meat training. As for the fourth layer, its function is to temper the blood and make it more pure. This is a process of purifying the blood and making it more active. I call it blood refining. As for the fifth level, its function is to temper the meridians, making them more tough and strong. The space inside the meridians is larger and can hold more soul power. I call it tempering meridians. As for the sixth layer, its function is to temper the bones and spinal cord. Its function is to make the bones stronger, the bone density higher, and the hematopoietic function of the bone marrow stronger. I call it bone forging and marrow cleansing. As for the seventh level behind, it may be due to mental power, but we haven't reached the soul saint stage yet, so we don't need to worry about it. Therefore, Changqing Ju improves us in all aspects layer by layer. When we reach the sixth layer, it begins to expel the toxins accumulated in our body. It can be said to cleanse the meridians and pulses, strengthen the bones and cleanse the marrow. This is the rhythm of reinvention. Catherine has cultivated to this level and was very happy to hear Yuan Changqing's explanation. That won't always have this effect in the future. As long as we keep practicing the Eternal Spring technique, as long as we reach the Soul Emperor level, it will be an evolution of our talents. Yuan Changqing said, you can also say, haven't you already experienced it? This is the effect of rebirth. Although you were pregnant with a child last year, which delayed your practice, it is not without benefits for you to insist on practicing Changqing Ju. That is to flush out as many toxins from your body as possible. Wang Yuyan also looked forward to it, hoping that she could cultivate to the level of Soul Emperor and then be reborn, and that she could also achieve a self-evolution. Yuan Changqing and Catherine couldn't help but smile when they saw Wang Yuyan's expression. Yuan Changqing consoled her, Yuyan, don't be anxious. Just practice step by step. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Yes, yes. Catherine said hurriedly. Brother Changqing, Sister Catherine, I'm fine, I'm just dreaming about it. I think that as long as I keep practicing every day, I will eventually reach the level of Soul Emperor. After all, I have the help of Eternal Spring Art, although it will be slower. Yuan Changqing said, as long as you understand, we and your sister Catherine are just afraid that you will get into trouble. Wang Yuyan smiled and said, okay, I'm not an idiot, I'm just looking forward to it. Yuan Changqing added, it's enough for us to know these ourselves. When we go back next time, we can tell our families about it. Catherine said, well, my sister-in-law will be able to practice to the level of Soul Emperor this year. By then, there will be 4 great Soul Emperor masters in the family, ha ha ha. Wang Yuyan smiled and said, Sister Catherine, you have to work hard and strive to become the first soul saint in our family, hee hee. Catherine was not pretentious and said boldly, okay, I'll just listen to you, Sister Yuyan, ha ha ha. Yuan Changqing said, okay, if you want to become a soul saint, you must practice seriously. The secret hidden in Changqing Ju was a big surprise for Yuan Changqing and the others. They didn't expect that there was such a big secret in it. It seems that the Taoist skills are indeed well deserved, and there must be bigger surprises waiting for him later. He feels excited just thinking about it. This eternal spring technique is the necessary magical skill for me to reach the peak of my life. I don't think about it anymore, I just practice hard and wait until I achieve the magic skill in the future. Now Yuan Changqing has plans for himself again and feels a lot more relaxed. He goes to work every day, reads books, studies pharmacological elixirs, and practices step by step. Time passed slowly like water. Wang Yuyan's clinic also opened, and she and Catherine no longer had to be so bored at home every day. Although Wang Yuyan is not very experienced yet, she has gradually become more proficient, and Yuan Changqing will occasionally help. Yuan Changqing refined a lot of golden medicine and small detoxification pills, and also constantly verified the refining process of other medicinal materials. So he accumulated a lot of information. Sometimes I would go to the Sunset Forest to find the ice and fire eyes, or help students hunt soul beasts. I also visited many places in the Sunset Forest. Although the ice and fire eyes have not yet been found, Yuan Changqing feels that it will not be far away from finding them. Chapter 46 Ice and Fire Eyes. You are listening at MedicalKnowledge. Time flies 5 years later, 12 years before Tang San was born, and the strength of Yuan Changqing's family has also undergone tremendous changes. The first is that Yuan Changqing has reached level 71, Soul Saint, and the Blue-Silver Grass Spirit has successfully evolved into the Blue-Silver King. However, Catherine is now a level 76, Soul Saint, which she only achieved with the blessing of her top martial soul. My uncle Yi Xiaofan is a level 74, Soul Saint. My sister-in-law is a level 69. Soul Emperor. My grandfather is a level 63 Soul Emperor. My grandmother is a level 61 Soul Emperor. My father is a level 61 Soul Emperor. My mother is a level 58 Soul King, and Wang Yuyan is a level 49 Soul Sect. Sunset Forest. In a strange basin terrain, there is a spring in the shape of ice and fire right in the center of the basin. There was strong energy emanating from the surrounding area. It was obvious that this was a place where energy gathered. However, there were no soul beasts around. It was obvious that this was not a good place. However, a man with a disc-like instrument in his hand appeared here and danced for a while. Ha ha ha, ice and fire eyes, I finally found you. This person is Yuan Changqing. In the past 5 years, he has never given up his search for the ice and fire eyes. As soon as he arrived here, Yuan Changqing felt the terrifying and violent energy here. If he stayed here for a long time, neither humans nor spirit beasts would be able to bear it. This is because Yuan Changqing did not see any soul beasts when he came here. This means that the soul beasts did not dare to stay here at all. Seeing that there is no poison formation around the ice and fire eyes, it means that Douluo has not discovered this place yet, but Yuan Changqing guessed that Douluo is not far from the title Douluo. Speaking of Douluo, although Yuan Changqing has not met him yet, in the original work, he has to say that he is very lucky. He accidentally entered the ice and fire eyes while in a poisonous state, and with the help of the uniqueness here, he suppressed the poison in his body. And also successfully promoted to quasi-title Douluo because of the energy of the ice and fire eyes. Yuan Changqing knew that the 2 eyes of ice and fire were the corpses of the Ice Dragon King and Fire Dragon King of the God realm who fell here. Because the 2 opposing forces did not blend together, over time the 2 energies of ice and fire created a force that both repels and attracts. The potential of the 2 yin, thus forming the 2 yin eyes of ice and fire. When he came here, Yuan Changqing naturally wanted to check out the fairy grass here. This is the strange velvet Babel chrysanthemum. This is the water mussel jade immortal bone. This is the 8-petal fairy orchid. This is Qilua tulip. This is the Yoxiang Qilua immortal. This is the coxcomb phoenix sunflower. This is lovesickness red. This is the black jade divine bamboo. This is earth dragon pumpkin. This is looking through the autumn dew. It's a snowy swan kiss. This is the 9th grade purple Jiji and the 9th grade Longji. Yuan Changqing looked excited when he saw these jelly grasses. Not only the jelly grasses, but also some spiritual herbs, all of which were quite old. In the past 5 years, Yuan Changqing has never stopped researching elixirs. Now there are so many celestial herbs here, which are of great help to him. In the past 5 years, Yuan Changqing's alchemy skills have become more and more proficient. Yuan Changqing has refined all the common medicinal materials in Douluo Continent, whether they are precious or ordinary medicinal materials. Through practicing with a large number of medicinal materials, Yuan Changqing discovered that the more common medicinal materials, the higher the control of flames. However, those precious medicinal materials do not have such high requirements for fire control. This may be the reason for the origin of these medicinal materials. It just requires more time and soul power. Now there are so many medicinal materials in the ice and fire eyes, which are enough for my own use. After reading this, Yuan Changqing came to the side of Binghua Lianjian again. This is Liehua Xingjiashu. This is the aniseed black ice grass. Seeing these two immortal grasses, Yuan Changqing knew that his Wuhuan blue silver grass was immune to fire and ice. Because of the fifth soul skill, Yuan Changqing's Wuhuan still had a certain degree of ice immunity against ice attributes. After coming to the Eye of Ice and Fire, he followed Yuan Changqing to Douluo's World Pearl and was shocked. Yuan Changqing has been looking for energy to help the World Pearl, but those ordinary energy World Pearls can automatically absorb it on their own. So there has been no energy source that can help the World Pearl, although I had speculated that the energy in the ice and fire eyes would be useful. I had not yet found it at that time. Now as the World Pearl vibrates, Yuan Changqing knows that the energy here is poison to humans or soul beasts, but it is indeed a tonic for the World Pearl. Therefore, Yuan Changqing quickly communicated with the World Pearl to calm it down and conveyed the message that he would wait until it has had enough. Yuan Changqing then used a special method to pick the fiery apricot jiaoshu and star anise black ice grass, leaving the seeds, and took them together directly into his mouth. These two kinds of grass jelly cannot be stored for a long time, and they need to be taken in time after being picked, otherwise they will disappear and become highly toxic. After eating 2 fairy grasses, Yuan Changqing quickly activated the 7th level of Eternal Spring Secret, and surging energy suddenly rushed through his body. When Yuan Changqing couldn't hold on anymore, he jumped out of the ice and fire eye. He knew that because he had taken Liehua Xingjiashu and star anise ice grass, nothing would happen if he jumped. After jumping into the ice and fire eyes, the changes in Yuan Changqing's body were relieved, and the internal and external ice and fire energy began to temper Yuan Changqing's body. The blue-silver grass martial soul also began to change because of the energy of the fairy grass, and began to slowly become immune to fire and black ice, due to the impact of a large amount of energy. Yuan Changqing also fell into a coma. A few days later, due to the tempering of the body by the ice and fire energy, the benefits also came. The body turned into an ice and fire mysterious body, and the physical condition was greatly improved. The martial spirit blue-silver grass is also immune to ice and fire, and after the martial spirit is tempered by ice and fire, its strength and toughness become better, not inferior to the martial spirits of the same level. Since Yuan Changqing reached the 71st level soul saint, the martial soul blue-silver grass evolved into the blue-silver king. This time, after being tempered by the energy of the ice and fire eyes, he got another evolution. That is, as a plant-type martial soul, he is no longer afraid of ice and fire. Yuan Changqing, who was still in the eyes of ice and fire, now let the World Pearl begin to absorb the ice and fire energy inside. Now Yuan Changqing can always stay in the eye of ice and fire. It is no longer the same as before and cannot stay for a long time. The Eye of Ice and Fire was formed from the corpses of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. The energy overflowing from the corpses was combined with the water veins in the ground, and through the power of time, it was formed. As the World Pearl continues to absorb the energy of the ice and fire eyes, the top of this energy eye has turned into spring water. Yuan Changqing had no choice but to dive under the ice and fire eyes. The deeper he dived, the greater the pressure. After an unknown amount of time, Yuan Changqing also reached the bottom, and the energy in the spring water was absorbed by the World Pearl. After arriving at the bottom of the ice and fire eye, what comes into view is a space shrouded in an energy shield, with ice and fire energy constantly overflowing from it. When Yuan Changqing saw the energy shield and the energy that was constantly overflowing, he knew that this was the burial place of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. I would like to express my great gratitude to the readers who have collected and recommended it. Thank you for your support, readers. Please recommend and collect it. Newbies and new books, please pay more attention. Chapter 47. The remnant soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King emerges. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Yuan Changqing, who came to the bottom of the Binghuoliangyi Eye, hesitated a little, not knowing whether to go in or not. After all, the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King were close to God Kings in the past, but now there is no telling whether they are completely dead. After thinking about it for a long time, Yuan Changqing felt that it was better to take a gamble. With the World Pearl, and the fact that he had absorbed a lot of energy this time, he could calculate mentally but not carelessly. There was no reason to be afraid of this or that. After entering the energy shield, Yuan Changqing saw that the space inside was really big, and the two huge dragon corpses could not be seen to the side. A fiery red body and an ice crystal-colored corpse lay across this space. Yuan Changqing was also very shocked when he saw such a scene. This was the first time he had seen such a scene in 2 lifetimes. This is a real dragon. Although it has turned into a corpse now, the pressure on the corpse is still exuding. It's safer to summon the martial spirit. Yuan Changqing murmured. Yuan Changqing unfolded his martial spirit and began to investigate, but he still used the Wanyan ship carefully. Judging from the current situation, the Ice and Fire Dragon King was dead, but he was not afraid of 10,000, just in case. The heart is indispensable. Now that he is here, Yuan Changqing also wants to find the soul bones of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. He cannot enter Baoshan and return empty-handed. The place was too big, and it took Yuan Changqing a lot of time to find 2 soul bones. These were god-level soul bones. After getting the soul bone, Yuan Changqing was ready to leave when there was no abnormality. However, when nothing unexpected happened, an accident happened. Buzz! He saw 2 streaks of light passing by, coming to Yuan Changqing and blocking the way. Seeing the 2 beads in front of him, one was filled with flames and was fiery red, and the other was cold and ice crystal colored, with a dragon-shaped shadow on it. This made Yuan Changqing on guard. His martial soul appeared, and his 7 soul rings slowly rotated under his body, ready to attack at any time. Seeing Yuan Changqing's alert look, the fiery red bead said quickly, "Humans, there is no need to be alert. We are in the state of remnant souls now and are not far from death. It means that it is fate that you can come here." When Yuan Changqing heard this, he naturally didn't believe it. He had read so many novels in his previous life, and there were still so many things like seizing one's body. Those who are old and immortal usually do this, saying that they are about to die or something, so that people can put down their guard, and the result is that they take the person's body off guard. Besides, Yuan Changqing also knows that humans have a big enmity with the dragons of the Dragon God series. Yuan Changqing naturally knew that they were the Ice and Fire Dragon King, but he still pretended not to know. "What do you do and why are you here?" Seeing Yuan Changqing's unabated vigilance, the Ice and Fire Dragon King knew that if he didn't explain clearly, the next conversation would probably not go on. Hu Hongzhu said, "The 2 of us are the masters here. I am the Fire Dragon King, and the one next to me is the Ice Dragon King." Yuan Changqing pretended to be shocked, widened his eyes, and asked in disbelief. "You said you are the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King, the 2 corpses next to you?" That the Fire Dragon King added, "Yes, what you see now are only our remnant souls. We don't know how long we have fallen. Since we fell, you are still the first to arrive here." Yuan Changqing said, "Then how did you fall? Since you said you fell, how can you still show up?" That I don't know if it's because the Ice Dragon King is of the ice attribute, but it's the Fire Dragon King who speaks. We used to be in the God realm, and there was a divine war there. In the end, we were defeated and killed by the opponent. The reason why we are like this now is because our dragon clan has our own natal Dragon Ball. Although we were killed, the Ice Dragon King and I only managed to survive by relying on our natal Dragon Balls and the remaining souls on our soul bones." Yuan Changqing rolled his eyes and said, "Who killed you? Since you are gods, you should be able to resurrect since your natal Dragon Ball is still there." But without a clear understanding of the situation, Yuan Changqing still had to ask more questions to avoid getting in their way. The Fire Dragon King looked at Yuan Changqing and knew that he was still on guard against them. We were killed by God Shura. The Ice Dragon King and I joined forces at that time, but we still couldn't defeat him. In the end, we tried our best and prepared to seriously injure God Shura even if we died. We succeeded, but we also fell. God Shura is also a ruthless person. Even when he was seriously injured, he still wanted to kill me and the Ice Dragon King, and also used the last of Shura's divine power to corrode our dragon bodies. However, it is also the case that the natal dragon balls of Ice Dragon King and I have been preserved. We also relied on the remnants of our souls to enter the natal dragon balls and escape underground to escape the pursuit of the gods on the side of God Shura. Otherwise, our natal dragon balls might have been lost long ago. It was destroyed. The other dragons on our side had their dragon souls and dragon balls beaten to ashes and died completely. Yuan Changqing asked again, "Who are you and Shura God? Why are you fighting a god war?" That the Fire Dragon King said, "The divine world was originally created by our dragon clan and ruled by the dragon god. The Shura gods are the human gods, because you humans are worthy of being the darlings of heaven and earth. Your cultivation speed is extremely fast, and more people will eventually become gods. And the strength became stronger and stronger later on. Finally, the conflict between us has become more and more serious due to various reasons. Coupled with the increase in human masters, this has threatened the rule of the dragon god. So, in the end, the dragon god led our dragon gods and the human gods to have a divine war. However, you humans had too many masters, and we were eventually defeated. We might all be wiped out in the end." At the end, the Fire Dragon King also felt depressed for a while. After all, they used to be high and mighty. Yuan Changqing heard what the Fire Dragon King said. Although he was not less wary, he was also relieved. Yuan Changqing said, "Then why did you stop me? If it's because of the soul bone, I will return it to you now." After all, the other party was once a god, and Yuan Changqing didn't dare to gamble, so he took out the soul bone and returned it to the Fire Dragon King and the others. The Fire Dragon King said, "No, even if you give it to us, we won't be able to use it. We also saw that you can absorb the energy overflowing from our corpses, so come out and take a look." When the Fire Dragon King said this, Yuan Changqing knew their plan. Yuan Changqing said in surprise, "You don't want me to help you resurrect? I don't have the ability." The Fire Dragon King added, "Of course you don't have that ability now, but you may not be able to do so in the future. Anyway, I don't have much time left with the Ice Dragon King's remnant soul, so I plan to take a gamble. Can't you and the Ice Dragon King leave here? Haven't you thought of a way before?" That the Fire Dragon King lamented, "How could I not have been looking for it? But so what if I could get out? After the Ice Dragon King and I died, the power of the dragon beads could barely keep our remaining souls alive. If we went out for a long time, we would eventually fall completely. In the end, we can only return here, relying on the divine power here to survive to this day, but because of the divine power left by God Shura, we can't hold on for long. Thank you to the readers who have collected and recommended it. Thank you for your support. New readers please recommend and collect it. Newcomers and new books, please pay more attention. Chapter 48 Douluo Continent Secret Information. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The appearance of the Ice and Fire Dragon King also let Yuan Changqing know some secrets that Douluo didn't know. Moreover, the Ice and Fire Dragon King now wants Yuan Changqing to resurrect them. This is also an unexpected thing, and he doesn't know what to do. After all, the two sides can be said to have a grudge. Although they were not killed by Yuan Changqing, who made him a human. Well, just take it one step at a time. Yuan Changqing can only think this way. Yuan Changqing said, "Even if I can resurrect you in the future, what good will it do to me? After all, logically speaking, I am a human race, and I am also a rival to your dragon race." The Fire Dragon King laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, you human being really makes me laugh to death. Although you are a human race, you are still a human race. Our enemies are human gods, not mortals. Besides, you think too highly of yourself. Let's wait until you become a god. Also, even if the Ice Dragon King and I are resurrected, can we overthrow the current god realm? It would be nice if we don't get killed again after being discovered by them. Yuan Changqing also found this funny, but when he thought about it, with the current power of the god realm, the Ice and Fire Dragon King would not be able to make any trouble even if he returned to his peak. Yuan Changqing said, even so, what benefit can you give me? I can't do everything without even getting any benefit. In that case, I won't do it. The Fire Dragon King said, what else do you want? Didn't I give you the soul bones of the Ice Dragon King and I? Those are god-level soul bones. Yuan Changqing curled his lips and said disdainfully, what happened to the god-level soul bones? Now they are in my hands. Compared with your resurrection, the soul bones are nothing, right? The Fire Dragon King and the Ice Dragon King looked at each other. They had nothing to offer Yuan Changqing now and didn't know what to do. The Fire Dragon King said helplessly, okay, tell me what benefits you want, and I can explain it clearly to you. We have nothing now, and we are just paupers. Yuan Changqing looked at their current appearance and felt that it was the same. However, if there is a benefit, wouldn't it be an idiot to not want it? You must still want what you should, Yuan Changqing said. First, tell me about what happened on Douluo Continent in the past. The Fire Dragon King took a deep look at Yuan Changqing and said, let's talk about the past. At that time, there were many more soul beasts on Douluo Continent than now. There were many soul beasts that were 100,000 years old. That was also the time when the soul beasts were at their most glorious, although human life was relatively difficult at that time and they could die at any time. But at that time, you humans' genius soul masters were practicing extremely fast, and many masters emerged. They united to resist the attack of the soul beasts, and slowly gathered humans together, and the number of people slowly increased. When there are more people, the number of soul masters in the world will also increase. Later, human masters will also emerge endlessly, and soul beasts will not dare to attack human strongholds too casually. I don't know how long it took, but gods also appeared in humans. This makes humans very happy, because with continuous practice, humans can also become gods. It is also because of these endlessly emerging genius soul masters that the number of human gods has gradually increased. Although they were only third-level gods at the beginning, after arriving in the god realm, the cultivation speed of these human gods is faster than ours. Later, there were more and more human gods, and even several god kings appeared. The emergence of these god kings had shaken the rule of the dragon gods, and human god kings also needed to have the same status. This was also the main thing at that time. Conflict, the divine war will occur. However, there was an interesting phenomenon at that time. I wonder if you want to hear it. Yuan Changqing did not expect that Douluo Continent was like this in the past, and he did not expect that the human race could rise under such circumstances. Yuan Changqing said, just tell me if you have anything. Is there anything more amazing than the battle between gods? That the Fire Dragon King said, of course it's incomparable, but it's hard to say for today's humans. Then just tell me and make it so mysterious. The Fire Dragon King added, human beings at that time were not the same as they are now. Take you for example. Now that you have advanced in strength, do you have to hunt soul beasts and absorb soul rings to advance? Yeah, what's the matter? Isn't this the case in Douluo Continent? Wasn't it the case before? That as he talked, Yuan Changqing also felt waves in his heart. Ha ha ha, human boy, you are really smart. Yes, in the past, you human beings practiced by condensing soul rings to advance. Isn't it incredible? Yuan Changqing felt really incredible. In the past, he had to condense soul rings by himself to advance, instead of relying on absorbing the soul rings of soul beasts to advance. Things here are not simple. Then what's the reason now? Is it to control the number of soul beasts and ensure the living space of humans? Yuan Changqing asked doubtfully. The Fire Dragon King said, yes, you are indeed right, but it is not quite right. Although the Ice Dragon King and I only have residual souls left, we dare not go out for a long time, and we are under surveillance from the god realm. However, we still know some of the situations around the ice and fire eyes. At first, we thought that this was an attempt by the God realm to control the number of soul beasts. After all, after the soul beasts have reached 100,000 years, there will be thunder disasters. In the past, but there isn't. However, after such a long time, we discovered the problem. That is, not long after the end of the God War, the way humans have been promoted has been like this. Furthermore, until now, do you know how many gods have appeared in your human race in such a long time? 2, only 2. You must know that there were many gods in the past. Otherwise, our dragon clan would not be defeated. Although I don't know how these 2 gods became gods, they certainly didn't cultivate themselves like the previous humans. Yuan Changqing said in surprise, how are you sure they didn't get up there by practicing on their own? Even after the war between gods, mankind will not lack geniuses, but why are there only 2 people who have become gods? If you think about it more, don't you know there is something fishy in this? Yuan Changqing said this and said, ahem, you are really right. As far as I know, these 2 people finally became gods through faith. Then he said, then do you and Ice Dragon King know the reason? The Fire Dragon King said we really know, do you want to know? Yuan Changqing rolled his eyes and said, isn't this nonsense? Who doesn't want to know such a big secret? Okay, I won't tease you anymore. As far as the Ice Dragon King and I know, any soul master who absorbs the soul ring of a soul beast, no matter how talented he is, will end up unable to cultivate to the god level for the rest of his life. How could this happen? Readers who have already collected and recommended it, thank you very much for your support. New readers, please recommend and collect it. Thank you. Newbies and new books, please pay more attention. Chapter 49, Disadvantages. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing the discovery of the Fire Dragon King, Yuan Changqing also had his own guess, but he was still a little lucky in his heart. Yuan Changqing said, what is the reason for the Fire Dragon King? The Fire Dragon King also gloated a little and said, although a person's origin is not immutable, what do you think will happen if a person's origin is contaminated? Also, as long as you absorb the soul ring of the soul beast, as long as your mental power is strong, you can feel it yourself, as well as the souls of the Ice Dragon King and I. Although we are remnant souls, we are still at the god level. As long as you absorb the soul ring, you will have the smell of those soul beasts on your body. This is also because the soul beasts in the soul ring enter the body and are emitted. Yuan Changqing said nothing, and a trace of luck in his heart gradually extinguished with the Fire Dragon King's words. He looked at the Fire Dragon King again, waiting for what he would say next. The Fire Dragon King added, although you humans can now improve your strength by absorbing the soul rings of soul beasts, at the same time, you have also polluted your own origins. Those absorbing soul rings are good matches for martial souls. Although the origin is contaminated, the origin has also been enhanced. It's just that the origin is mixed. However, those who absorb soul rings that do not match their martial souls will not achieve much in their lifetime. Also, the soul ring that absorbs the 10,000-year soul beast still contains the remaining soul of the soul beast. This is actually the spiritual power of the soul beast. This is another pollution of the spirit, which cannot be discovered through one's own mental power. Unusual reason. Human boy, tell me, how can you become a god after your origin and spirit are polluted by constantly absorbing soul rings like this? Yuan Changqing also felt sad for a while, but he didn't expect the result to be like this. Yuan Changqing asked, is there any solution? The Fire Dragon King also sympathized, unless you condense the soul rings by yourself from the beginning, this is also the most suitable for you, because there are soul powers with different attributes in this world. As you advance, the origin will gradually change. Powerful. However, you humans don't have this ability now. Even if you were given a way to gather soul rings yourself, you still wouldn't be able to do it, because the environment in Douluo Continent is completely different from before. In Douluo Continent now, the density of soul power between heaven and earth is almost the same as before. One is in the sky and the other is underground. Human boy, tell me, how do you condense the soul rings by yourself? Well, this is also an objective reality. I should just watch the soul rings that absorb soul beasts advance, Yuan Changqing said. Do you have such a method? I still want to see it. Ah. When the Fire Dragon King saw this, he thought that he was still determined to give up, and it was of no use anyway, so he gave it to him. The Fire Dragon King said, forget it, since you don't give up, I'll give it to you. Anyway, given the current situation in Douluo Continent, unless time is reversed, you'd better give up and practice as usual. The Fire Dragon King gave Yuan Changqing the method to condense the soul ring through spiritual transmission. After Yuan Changqing obtained the method, he looked at the Fire Dragon King and felt that his god-level remnant soul should not be underestimated even if there was not much time left. Yuan Changqing briefly looked at this method, and found that there were quite a lot involved in it, including a combination of soul skills and runes. It was simply a complete rune collection. After coming back to his senses, Yuan Changqing said again, then look at my current situation. The Fire Dragon King used his mental power to explore Yuan Changqing and found something different. The Fire Dragon King said, boy, I have to say that you are really lucky. Although your martial spirit is blue-silver grass, I have to say that your situation is quite good. They are all additional plant-based spirit rings. Because plants, the origins of the soul beasts themselves are roughly the same. Of course, you also know that only a few people can become gods, so don't think too much. Yuan Changqing thought about it. Not everyone can become a god. Now, to become a god, you need to inherit the divine throne to become a god. It is useless to think so much, Yuan Changqing said, that's right. The boat will be straight when it reaches the bridge. Now I still practice seriously and cultivate to the title Douluo as soon as possible. The Fire Dragon King nodded and said, tell me, if you have any other requests, please tell me quickly. Okay, second, if you are successfully resurrected and your strength is restored, you cannot massacre the human race on Douluo Continent, not even one person. This requires you to swear on your souls. The Fire Dragon King and the Ice Dragon King looked at each other and nodded. The Fire Dragon King said, okay, we agree. I didn't expect you to be somewhat responsible. Yuan Changqing said, that is, we are compatriots after all. The affairs between you gods have nothing to do with us mortals. Later, the Ice and Fire Dragon King also swore a poisonous oath on his soul. After hearing this, Yuan Changqing felt that there was no problem, nodded and said again. Third, you have to teach me the skills, formations, and knowledge other than those of your dragon clan. The Ice and Fire Dragon King also agreed, and these had no impact on them. As long as the secrets of the dragon clan were not leaked, it was nothing. After seeing their agreement, Yuan Changqing added, I haven't thought about the rest yet. I'll wait until I think about it. Of course, I don't need you to do anything beyond your abilities or against your will. The Fire Dragon King said, well, we are all like this anyway, one more or one less doesn't matter. Nodding, Yuan Changqing said, then how do you need me to help you? That the Fire Dragon King said, didn't you absorb the ice and fire energy of me and the Ice Dragon King outside earlier? Then can you absorb the power of the Shura god? Yuan Changqing shook his head and said, I don't know, I haven't tried it before. Do you plan to let me absorb the power of God Shura, so that it can enter the body and be resurrected? Of course not. Even if you want to absorb it and can absorb it, we don't intend to do so. In that case, God Shura will also notice it. Yuan Changqing thought about it and thought it was true, and said, then what are your plans and ideas? I don't have the ability or method to resurrect you. That the Ice Dragon King also spoke at this time, and it was a female voice. It seemed that she was a female dragon. The Ice Dragon King said, our bodies have long-term existence because of the divine power of God Shura, and it is also the divine weapon of God Shura, the Shura divine sword. It contains not only the divine power of Shura, but also sword energy. So, the dragon body is already dilapidated. We plan to take out our heart, which contains our natal essence and blood, plus our natal dragon pearl and the current remnant soul, to give birth to a new body. So that's it, it seems that God is good and it's not that easy to die even if you want. Dear readers who have collected and recommended this article, thank you for your support. New readers, please recommend and add it to your collection. New author, please take care of me. Chapter 50 Method. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. After hearing the Ice Dragon King's methods, Yuan Changqing felt that none of these gods were simple. There is still a way to do this, but Yuan Changqing thought that if he was pregnant again like this, he didn't know how long it would take. Now Douluo Continent is different from before, the density of soul power is too different, then the conditions they promised themselves are not impossible to achieve. It seems that he must first get the benefits he can get, Yuan Changqing thought secretly in his heart. Yuan Changqing said, if you want to give birth again, then you have found a good place. The Fire Dragon King said, you are wrong. We haven't found it, and we will need your help in the future. Fortunately, as long as you follow me, I won't worry about you having sex for nothing, Yuan Changqing said deliberately. Are you overestimating me? You have so much confidence in me. I don't even have it myself. Who gave you the confidence? I really believed in you. The Fire Dragon King smiled and said, ha ha ha, we believe in you. You can do it. Anyway, there is no good way now. I can only take a gamble. If you are lucky, there is still hope of resurrection. Otherwise, you will die sooner or later. Yuan Changqing was also speechless for a while. This really depends on him. But in this case, Yuan Changqing also has some ideas. The treasures at home may be useful, even if I admit that you are cunning and cunning, you will still eat ashes from behind my ass. Yuan Changqing pretended to be helpless and said, okay, since you all said so, I accept it, but if it doesn't work out, don't blame me. It depends on whether you have such luck. The Ice Dragon King came out and said, don't worry, we are not unreasonable dragons, but I hope you can think of more solutions. Yuan Changqing said, of course, if I promise, I will keep my word. So what should we do now? The Fire Dragon King said, first try to see if you can absorb the power of God Shura. If you can, then we can proceed to the next step. So, Yuan Changqing came to the body of the Fire Dragon King. There was still the power left by God Shura on a wound. Yuan Changqing put his hand on it and began to absorb it. There was a scream, and sure enough, the power of Shura God was filled with the aura of killing. Because Yuan Changqing absorbed his power, his eyes suddenly turned red, and he had the urge to kill. After slowly adapting to it, he discovered that the murderous aura inside could also strengthen his body and even his spirit, which gave Yuan Changqing some benefits. After a while, the Shura divine power on the wound was absorbed by the World Pearl through Yuan Changqing. Sure enough, the divine power is good, which is what the World Pearl needs. However, Yuan Changqing also knew not to destroy this place. Maybe this place was originally arranged by God Shura. Fortunately, the World Pearl can block the calculation. Seeing that Yuan Changqing could indeed absorb Shura's divine power, the Ice and Fire Dragon King was also excited. Finally there was hope of survival. They also thought about it. Instead of lingering, it was better to fight hard. Yuan Changqing said, what to do next, let's do it quickly. Once it's done, leave here as soon as possible. Good. Good. The Ice and Fire Dragon King replied at the same time, then they went to get their own hearts. After a while, they each came to Yuan Changqing with a broken dragon heart. Yuan Changqing didn't waste any time. He placed a dragon heart in each hand directly, and another murderous feeling came over him. After the Shura power above was gone, the Ice and Fire Dragon Kings put their hearts into their natal dragon balls. The Fire Dragon King said, now we are going to enter the dragon ball to give birth again. We don't know how long it will take to meet again. We will pass on some of the things we know to you. After we enter the Dragon Ball, we will converge our respective divine powers and slowly gestate. You will also help us find a place with sufficient soul power as soon as possible. Yuan Changqing nodded and said, don't you have any treasures or anything like that? It's all up to me to help you. I don't even know how long it will take to find it. Both Binghua Liangyi shook their heads and said no. Yuan Changqing didn't know whether it was true or not. They were all like this, so they could only take it as true. Afterwards, Yuan Changqing received the messages from the two sources, but did not check them. He might as well wait until he got back to check them, and leave first before talking. After the Ice and Fire Dragon King entered the Dragon Ball, he left 2 Dragon Balls behind. If he didn't say they were Dragon Balls, no one would believe them. Now the 2 dragon beads are not like what Yuan Changqing saw before. The Fire Dragon King's has turned into a red bead, and it no longer looks like it is surrounded by flames. It just has a warm feeling. The Dragon Balls of Ice Dragon King are still ice crystal in color, but they no longer show the cold air. They are ice cold and very suitable for summer use. After holding it in his hand and weighing it, Yuan Changqing didn't know if there would be any problems with storing it in the storage space, so he put it directly in his pocket. So, Yuan Changqing hurried to the ground, preparing to pick the fairy grass there first. All the valuable things here have gone into his pocket, except for the fairy grass and elixir. Moreover, he also took away the soul bone of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. He doesn't know how long this place can last. There were only 2 huge corpses left in front of Binghuoliangi, but there was still energy in the corpses. When I came to the ground, I looked at the 2 eyes of ice and fire, and everything turned into clear spring water. However, as time goes by, the energy in the dragon corpse will fill this place again and continue to shine and heat this place. Yuan Changqing took out a large number of jade boxes and began to pick fairy grass, and then left the seeds here, leaving a trace in everything so that we can meet again in the future. The seed is left behind, isn't it? Hehe. Of course, there are only a few seeds produced by one fairy grass. Just leave one of each here, and you won't be polite for the rest. Wouldn't it be nice to plant it in the world pearl in the future? You said there can only be one fairy grass in one place. Yes, you are right. However, the world pearl is an innate spiritual treasure. Although Yuan Changqing does not know its level yet, he thinks it should be higher than Douluo world. If such a treasure can't make a mere fairy grass grow in one place at the same time, then you look down on the world pearl. Although it is now severely damaged and requires a lot of energy to repair itself, it is an indisputable fact as to its level. After absorbing so much energy this time, the world pearl can be repaired a lot. Although it has little effect on the whole, it is good to be able to repair a little. Now the space inside the world pearl has become larger because of this energy. Although its function has not changed, there are a lot of things that can be planted. Now Yuan Changqing only harvests the fairy grass, and transplants the rest directly. Of course, he also leaves some seeds for future generations. Yuan Changqing plucked the feathers of the geese, leaving small pits. He waved his sleeves and floated away without taking away any clouds. Dear readers who have collected and recommended this article, thank you for your support. New readers, please collect and recommend more. Thank you. New authors, please pay more attention.